Hi, I'm Tracy Nazarella, and I'm a teacher with the OCSB, and I wanted to give you a couple workspace tips. If you're pushing out information to your students on a weekly basis, you don't have to make a new workspace every week. And I know a lot of you are concerned that it's going to get too long and too cluttered, and that students are going to spend a lot of time scrolling looking for the work. But I want to show you a little tip and a trick just to keep the newest work at the top of your workspace. So if you look here on my workspace, this is the top section of my workspace, and this is where I put things that don't change on a weekly basis. So I just have goals, I have a workspace tour, and any announcements that we have. But this stuff doesn't really change. This isn't where the students are finding their work. As they scroll down, there's another section here. So this is for math from March 23rd to the 27th, and this is all their activities here, and I've put them all in purple. I've labeled them so they're easy for the students to find. But I've added more work, so that's a lot of scrolling for the kids to find the new work. So this is the most recent work, so I've added another section, put all the work in there, and I've changed actually the colors of the cards slightly so they do look different. But I can bump this up by, if I've added another section, if you hover on it, you can bump it up to the top. So now this section is above the older section. And how do you add a new section? You just click on here and you can call it Math April 6th, and then press enter or click off, and then it's there, and then you can start adding new work that way. Another tip is, well, then some people are like, well, I want to make a new workspace so I can post anytime during the week, and then my students won't see it until I press publish. And that is a bit of an issue. So as soon as I add something to this workspace, the students are going to see it. But here's a little trick. So what I've done here is I have my students in a group, but I've also created a second group. So as you can see here in my students and groups, I've added another group called teacher, but this group is empty. So now when I go back to my workspace, you're going to see if I can add things. So I can put in a goal, do these things, whatever. I can add something to it. Let's just add something. So I've added this piece of paper, but I don't actually want my students to see it until I want them to, maybe next week. So under the groups thing, instead of selecting all groups, because this is the group with my students in it, this is the group just that's nobody is in. So if I do it just to teacher and then I click off, this will only be visible to me. So for example, and I'll show you how that works. So if I go and I'm seeing it as a student view here, you're going to notice that that card I created is not visible to the student. So I hope that trick helps you out and helps you keep yourself organized in this challenging time.